everybody, Miss Wendy here. Welcome to another virtual story time. Glad to see you today. So for today's story time, we are going to be talking about farm animals. And do you have a favorite farm animal? For me, I think chickens are probably my favorite. It's like the way they strut around, and roosters are pretty cool. You know, they go cock-a-doodle-doo. And ducks. Sometimes you see ducks on a farm, but maybe I just like birds. No. So think about what your favorite farm animal is, and we'll come back to that in a song later. But for now, let's start with our first book, Libby Wimbley, Rooster Instructor. All right, so let's begin with Chapter 1, Doodle Trouble. Libby Wimbley lived on a farm. She lived with her mom and dad and little brother Stuart. In the barn lived 3 goats, 2 cows, a pony, some hens, and 1 rooster named Doodle. There was only one problem. Each morning, Libby listened, but Doodle never crowed. On Sunday morning, he roosted. On Monday morning, he pecked ants. On Tuesday morning, he chased the hens. On Wednesday morning, he snoozed. On Thursday morning, he flapped his wings. And on Friday morning, he scratched in the dirt. And on Saturday morning, he stayed in the chicken coop until afternoon. Why doesn't Doodle crow every morning like a normal rooster? Libby finally asked Dad. Doodle's still a young chick, Dad said. He doesn't know how. This summer, I'll teach him, Libby said. Mom looked surprised. You'll teach Doodle to crow? Libby smiled proudly. That's right. Doodle's going to school. Rooster school. When? Asked Stuart. First thing in the morning, Libby said. Chapter 2, Rooster School. The next day, Libby woke up extra early, and she raced to the barn. Good morning, everyone, Libby said to all of the animals in her best teacher voice. It's the first day of Rooster School. Elvis the goat bleated softly. Meh. Don't worry, Elvis, Libby said. Goats don't go to Rooster School. Go back to chewing your cud. And Elvis did. So who does go to Rooster School? Libby asked. If the animals knew, they didn't answer. Well, Libby went on, Rooster School students have feathers and a beak and funny little chicken legs. Libby looked at Doodle. Does that sound like anyone you know, Doodle? Doodle fluffed his feathers. Beep. No, not peep, Libby said. Roosters crow like this. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Doodle cocked his head to one side. That's it, Doodle, Libby said, hopefully. But all Doodle said was, beep. Repeat after me, Doodle, Libby said. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Beep, said Doodle. Libby even showed Doodle a picture of a rooster. See, right here, it says C-R-O-W, crow. Doodle pecked at the paper bird, but he still didn't crow. Doodle's beak was sealed. It's okay, Libby said. We'll try again tomorrow. Chapter 3, Rooster Review. And so early the next morning, Libby went back to the barn for Rooster School. Have you practiced crowing, Doodle? Libby asked. Doodle flapped his wings. Peep! No, not peep. Libby shook her head. Listen to this. She pushed play on her CD player. The sounds of crowing roosters filled the barn. Doodle listened, like any good rooster student should, then Libby pressed stop. Got it, Doodle? Libby asked. Now it's your turn. By then there was quite a large crowd. The goats, the cows, the pony, and the other chickens had gathered. They all flocked around Doodle and waited too. "Don't be shy, Doodle. Just go for it," Libby cheered. "Beep," Doodle said. Libby took a deep breath. "Okay, Doodle, let's review what you didn't learn." Before she could begin, Stuart came into the barn. "How's Rooster School?" he asked. "So far not so good," Libby said. Stuart had an idea. "Maybe you should act like a chicken." "You mean pretend I'm a rooster?" Libby asked. Stuart nodded. "It might work," Libby said. And Doodle said, "Beep." Chapter 4, Cock-a-Doodle Won't Do. "Today we're trying something new," Libby said at Rooster School the next morning. Doodle watched as Libby strutted around the barn like a rooster. She scratched in the dirt, and she even flapped her arms in the air like wings. Libby cleared her throat and crowed, "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!" But Doodle didn't like all of this crowing one bit. He hid behind a bag of corn. "Doodle, come out," Libby said. "Please?" Doodle did. "Peep," he said. "No, no, no, not peep." Libby frowned. Doodle looked into Libby's eyes, Libby's sad brown eyes, and Libby looked into Doodle's round rooster eyes. "Peep?" Doodle said again. "I'm sorry, Doodle," Libby said. "Rooster School is canceled." Then she stomped into the kitchen where Dad was making pancakes. "What's wrong?" he asked, stirring the batter. "Instead of cock-a-doodle-doo, it's more like cock-a-doodle-won't-do," Libby said. "Doodle is the worst rooster student ever." "Maybe Doodle just needs to grow up a bit," Dad said. But Libby didn't think so. She was pretty sure Doodle was doomed to a no-crow life. Chapter 5, Five-Star Student. A few days later, Libby and Stuart were catching frogs at the pond. "Look at this one," Libby said, stroking the frog's bumpy skin. "Wow," Stuart smiled. "He's the biggest one yet." Libby was about to set the frog on a log when she heard something. "What was that?" she asked. "I don't know," Stuart shrugged. "It's coming from the barn," Libby said. "Let's go find out." When they got there, Dad and Mom were already in the barn. "What was that sound?" Libby asked. Mom pointed at Doodle. "Listen." Doodle sat on the gate, flapping and flopping his wings. Libby listened, and Stuart did too. Then Doodle puffed out his chest. He reared back his head and opened his beak. "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" "Doodle, you did it!" Libby jumped up and down. "You crowed!" Dad smiled. "I knew he'd do it someday." Libby smoothed Doodle's feathers. "I was wrong, Doodle. You're the best rooster student ever." She paused. "But you're going to have to go back to Rooster School." "Why's that?" Mom asked. "Because it isn't morning," Libby sighed. "Now I have to teach Doodle how to tell time." All right, now that we've finished our first story, let's sing a song. And I'm sure you all know Old MacDonald Had a Farm, so let's do that since that fits our theme pretty well. First of all, think of your favorite farm animal. You got it? All right, so let's start with your animal. I'm going to pause so you can fill in your own. Ready? Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a E-I-E-I-O, with a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. All right, so this time I'm going to pull an animal from my box of animals here. And we'll just do whatever animal I pull out. All right, here we go. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O, with a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O, with an oink oink here and an oink oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a sheep, E-I-E-I-O, with a ba-ba here and a ba-ba there, here a ba, there a ba, everywhere a ba-ba. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a dinosaur, E-I-E-I-O, with a roar here and a roar there, here a roar, there a roar, everywhere a roar, roar. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. I think we should stop it there just in case, because that got a little silly. All right, so let's move on to our next story, Gaston the Goat. All right, so we will start with Chapter 1, A Thunder Boom. The sun disappeared behind a cloud. Poof! The blue sky turned gray. The wind whistled. Whoosh! Close the shutters, said Kiana. She peered out of the barn window. Mama says we're getting a thunder boom. A goat darted into the barn. It rammed into Kiana. Hi, Gaston, Kiana giggled. What's wrong? Meh, meh, said Gaston. The goats are afraid of the rain, said Aunt Jane. Don't be scared, said Kiana. It's just a little water. Meh, meh, meh. Aunt Jane glanced at the sky. We're getting a storm, that's for sure. She scratched Gaston's neck. Springtime is rain time at Stormcliff Stables. Meh, meh, meh. Kiana hugged Gaston. Flash went the lightning. Crash went the thunder. And down came the rain. Down, 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 down. Aunt Jane said, let's go find your mama, Kiana. They dashed out the door. They darted across the pasture. They left Gaston behind. Chapter 2. Meh, meh, meh. Stop your bleating, said Freckles. Flash, flash, flash. It's just a little lightning, Freckles said. Crash, crash, crash. And just a little thunder, said Daisy. Splash, splash, splash. And a little rain, said Golden Girl. Gaston shook his head. He shivered. His lips quivered. Meh, 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 meh. Then I will just be a little scared. But Gaston was not just a little scared. He was a lot scared. Too scared to play kick the can, too scared to eat dinner, and worst of all, too scared to go to sleep, sleep, sleep as the rain came down, down, down. Gaston rubbed his eyes. He yawned. Oh, if the rain keeps coming down, 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 then I will be up, up, up all night. Meh, meh, meh. Stop bleating, said Daisy. Sorry, said Gaston, but I'm tired and afraid. Meh. Golden Girl jumped up on Daisy's stool. Then she flew onto her nesting box. It's only a little rain. Close your eyes. Go to sleep. When you wake up, the storm will be over. I cannot sleep. The storm is too scary for me, said Gaston. He paced back and forth and back and forth and back and forth again. Golden Girl clucked. I have an idea. Is it a good idea? Asked Gaston. Will it make me forget about the storm? Golden Girl bobbed her head up and down. It's a very good idea. Let's sing a song. Singing will make you forget about the rain. Gaston's friends sang. It's raining, it's pouring, the old farmer is... Gaston stomped his foot. Stop, stop, stop. That song will not help me forget about the rain. That song is about rain. He paced again. Meh. The flashing got brighter. The crashing boomed louder. The rain came down harder. Meh, meh, meh. Golden Girl sighed. Oh, my idea was not a good idea. I will think of another one. Oh, Gaston yawned and paced again. If the rain kept coming down, 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 how would he ever sleep, sleep, sleep? Chapter 3. Lots of Ideas. Freckles, Daisy, and Golden Girl wanted to help Gaston. You need to relax, said Freckles. Take a mud bath. You'll feel much better. No, 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 said Gaston. I cannot go outside in the rain. It is too bright, too loud. The lightning will flashity flash flash. The thunder will crashity crash crash. Meh. Then move into the milk stand, said Daisy. It is in the darkest part of the barn. It's quieter, too. You will feel safe. You can sleep there. Gaston swished his ears forward. That is a good idea. He skittered into the milk stand. It was darker. It was quieter. And he felt better. Until... Flashity flash flash, crashity crash crash, meh, meh, meh. It is not dark enough, said Gaston. It is not quiet enough. Golden Girl tipped Gaston's bucket of goat feed over. Then put this bucket over your head. It will be much darker and much quieter. Gaston squirmed. Now it was too dark, and the bucket squashed his ears. This bucket is not a good idea. Gaston shivered. His lips quivered and he yawned again. Oh, meh, meh, meh. Since the rain is still coming down, 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 will all of you stay up, up, up with me? Chapter 4. The Best Idea. Oh, Daisy yawned and nodded. Oh, Golden Girl yawned and nodded. Oh, Freckles yawned. Oh, twice, but he did not nod. Flashity flash flash, crashity crash crash, meh, meh, meh. We need another idea, said Freckles. A better idea. If we don't get one, then we will be up, up, up all night. Freckles looked to the left. He looked to the right. He spied Pip and Squeak asleep in their stalls. I know what to do. Gaston didn't believe him. He groaned. He moaned. This is the best idea ever, said Freckles. Just you wait and see. Freckles trotted over to Pip and Squeak. He tugged, tugged, tugged at their blankets. He dragged them over to the milk stand. We will make a tent for you. With a tuck, tuck here and a tuck, tuck there, the tent was done. I cannot see the lightning, said Gaston. I cannot hear the thunder. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the best idea ever. Daisy mooed and swished her tail. Golden Girl clucked and flapped her wings. Freckles snorted and rolled in the straw. But a few minutes later, flashity flash flash, crashity crash crash, splashity splash splash, the friends froze. They waited, but they did not hear meh, meh, meh. It was quiet in the tent until... All right, everybody, thank you for joining us today for this farm-themed story time. We hope you will join us next time. Until then, have a great day.